My project is on fizzy bath bombs or do-it-yourself bath bombs. And what if you don't know what bath bombs are, they're like a mixture of citric acid, cornstarch, Epsom salt, and baking soda inside a little bomb that when you put it in the water, it starts fizzing and it gives you soft, smooth skin when you're in a bathtub. But what I was really interested is that when I started researching, that there was different recipes with different kinds of amounts that you would add either in the baking soda or in the citric acid, which are both the two main ingredients in your bath bomb. So I decided to choose one, and I chose the baking soda, and I did different amounts of baking soda. So 120, 60, 80, 480, 240. And I color coded them too, just so I won't get confused. Then I asked myself, well, how will it affect the fizz? So depending on the amounts of baking soda, how would it affect the fizz and how long it would take to dissolve? And that was my question. And then my hypothesis is what I stated that would be true is if I added different amounts of baking soda to a bath bomb, then the fizz of one bath bomb would last longer. My independent variables are the different amounts of baking soda, citric acid, cornstarch, and Epsom salt, also the baking soda. And the dependent variables are the time and how long the fizz lasted. So I timed how much time the fizz of a bath bomb was in the water. And the constant variables are the same amounts of Epsom salt, citric acid, cornstarch, but not the same amounts of baking soda because that's what I changed. Bowl size, the whisk, castor oil, food coloring drops, and water quantity. Controlled variables are the original recipe for the bath bombs, which was there were different recipes, but I stick to one. And I only changed the baking soda. And the materials were a stopwatch, bath bomb mold, bathtub, camera, a small cup, whisk, and a bowl. And the original recipe for the bath bombs are 120 ml of baking soda, 60 ml of citric acid, 80 ml of cornstarch, and 80 ml of Epsom salt. And then the homemade oil, smoothing and hydrating skin oil, this was my personal oil that I add into my bath bombs, and that's contains castor oil, sweet almond oil, water, and essentials oils. And you really want to make sure that when you do check essential oils and you're very allergic, you're allergic, you want to check the ingredients on the essential oils because they are used to for other reasons besides just giving a scent. My procedure or how to make a bath bomb. So you add all your dry ingredients, would be the citric acid, the cornstarch, and Epsom salt, and then the different amounts of baking soda to each bath bomb. So that in this case it would be 5. So you add that and into your bowl, and then you start whisking slowly as you add in your homemade oil recipe, which will contain the castor oil, the sweet almond oil, or any other oils you would like to add, and the same amount of water. Then you'll whisk thoroughly, and you'll grab your bath bomb mold and put half of the amount that's in the bowl inside, and then either put half of the half that you have if you have more, and if not, just the same, just half. Then you will hear it snap, and that will mean that you'll put it either in 30 minutes in the refrigerator or let it sit overnight. It's better if you let it sit overnight, because when you do put it in the refrigerator, it kind of has some ice crystals inside of it, or it freezes too much a little, and that's not okay, because then your whole bath bomb will start melting. Yeah. And these are the pictures I took. This is the red trial, the orange trial. Wait, okay, so the red trial had 120 ml. The orange trial had a 480 ml. This one had more. That's probably why it was so slow, because there were more amounts of baking soda than citric acid and Epsom salt, etc. This is the green one, which was the one that won. This one's which baking soda was which baking soda had 240 ml. And then the last one, this one, the white one over here, had 80 ml, which was sort of in between. And the blue one is 60 ml, and that was it. There were 5 trials. So, as I was saying, that these bath bombs, oh, you can see in the green one too, how it fizzes. And I think that this one, I lifted it up, and you can see, I don't know what those are, little dots. And I just picked it up, and it was in the water, and I just took a picture of that. And then I have, so the results over here, I did a number of 5 trials that were very successful, such as the green bath bomb. That's the one that won, actually, with 2 minutes 25.13 seconds, beating the rest with more than a minute or less seconds. And the rest of the bath bombs had different and the close time, but not the same. So my conclusion was pretty much, let me just summarize it for you. So I started noticing that the more baking soda that there was instead of the rest of the products, the baking soda, there would be more baking soda than the rest of the products. So when I would scoop up maybe only a third of the baking soda and maybe a half of the citric acid, the cornstarch, and the Epsom salt, and the rest of the stuff that I put in my bowl. And that was not okay, because you kind of want to have the even amount, so then to kind of work together when it fizzes, and that's what probably would made it the fizz last longer. And in the green one, you can kind of see how this one still had little clumps in it. These two, actually. And then this one was very, very smooth, and it was so nice and textured, and when you would touch it, it would be so soft, and this one would kind of be a little dry than the rest. And that one actually did, I was able to catch a perfect shot of it fizzing, and it was just amazing. And the blue one, I know, like, just looks like blue water, but it was just, you know, what I got. When I noticed and I tried to pick up the powder or whatever was in the bottom, like a little ball over here, like that one, I couldn't find it because there was nothing there. It was just dissolved completely. And then the white one, that's not in the water, that was actually in the bowl. I made the you know, the bath bomb, but I didn't have time to put it, you know, show it to you as like this one. So my conclusion pretty much said that my question was right. Yes, it does affect the baking soda does affect the fizz in the bath bomb, because either the less or the more of the baking soda that there is, you kind of want to have the same amount on both of them. And if that really doesn't plan well and you end up using another recipe and not this one, I would recommend you using 24 ml, which is the one that worked best for me. Now, if you would change the amounts of citric acid with the baking soda, or keep them both the same, then you'll probably have better results. But the 2 minutes and 25.13 seconds were the ones I got with just changing the baking soda. And yeah, that's it pretty much. And something else I kind of wanted to talk about is my background information. That is what I had to do, what I investigated. And what I researched was the reaction between the citric acid and the sodium bicarbonate, which is also baking soda. And what these two what they do together is that they create a reaction when they are added in water that provokes the baking soda to fizz and the citric acid to kind of just like be stuck together and like just fizz together. And I know that baking soda may be used for cleaning. I know that citric acid is used for cleaning, and baking soda used mostly for whitening teeth or anything else. I've heard that a bunch of people put it in their shoes if they have stinky feet. I'm not sure about that, but baking soda is used for those kind of reasons. And citric acid, a lot of organic people do use it to clean, because they either have babies and they get intoxicated with the chlorine inside of a lot of products, and that's why they rather use citric acid, which is also a really good way to whiten things too as well. So that is it for my bath bombs. I really hope you guys liked it.